Hello and welcome everybody to another continuing education here with Redtail Technology. I'm Jeremy and I'm going to take you through the business record today. Now, there's a lot of, let's just call it separate thoughts in regards to the business record. There's some people that don't like them, some people that do like them. What matters is that we really find a way to utilize them because they are part of our system. But otherwise, if you don't like them, we have some other cool ideas to kind of help you guys out as well. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start with basic through the business record. Then we're going to jump into, how they're created. Sometimes that's a really good thing to know. How we can really embrace those records, and then how we can work around them, and some general best practices associated with them. So let's go ahead and get started here. Number one, let's just open up a business record. Now, if I open up my recently viewed, let's take a look over here. Most of you guys are going to see these little buildings here. That is what identifies a business record. But of course, we went ahead and uploaded an image for Redtail Technology here. So we're going to open it on up, and it's going to take us in. Um, there are a few minor differences when it comes to the record itself, but we're going to kind of go through piece by piece and talk about the things that kind of give us a lasting benefit here. Now, the biggest reason that most people use business records within Redtail for effective purposes is that maybe they manage a 401k for a business. That being said, the best way to track that within the business is to use the membership options, which is automatically done on the creation of a contact record, which we'll get into in a little bit. But if we enter the membership section here on the left hand side in this margined off area, we can go ahead and see what the contact is, as well as who the linked contact is. So in this case, Redtail, it's a 401k provider, and then we have three participants here between Bruce, Polly, and Corey. So that's a really quick way that we can track that. And if we need to, we could hit this little CSV button if we need to do like an export of any of their basic data. Now that is the one like big thing that we usually recommend that people utilize this business record for outside of bookkeeping. Now, beyond that, let's talk about marketing opportunities in general with Redtail, because of the fact that if you have multiple people under a single business, there's a good chance that you could gain more prospective clients from that business if it is that their coworkers are actually also, you know, your clients. So getting their information is kind of an important aspect, and so you can avoid flooding them and like getting on that bad list of potential contacts. You come in here and you could add notes just like a normal contact record. In terms of what you've been doing, like today I added that we sent a 401k offering to their HR department. Maybe we want to take over that for them if it is that their business offers that type of platform. Now, in order to maintain and help that communication with the business, you just actually have to scroll down. I don't necessarily recommend use of the contact card overall. That may not be the most helpful. In this case, you want to use the department section down here, this little guy, where you can go ahead and name the department, name the contact, as well as how to contact them. And what's great about this, a little bonus that might not be super obvious, is that this email address associated with it is also going to show up in the email history if you're partaking in our email archiving and journaling, so that it all transfers over into the email history, so that the conversations can be noted and visible within Redtail as well, which is a pretty cool bonus in my opinion. Now, let's talk about other potential ways that this can kind of help us out here. So, you're going to have a lot of businesses generally in every Redtail CRM just because of the nature of how they're added. But if we come down here and take a look here, and we could see that, okay, maybe this keyword here, the Redtail being our client, I'm going to give them the keyword of a 401k client. And if they aren't a client, I might use a tag group. In this case, it's a marketing tag group for businesses because of the fact that most of our marketing integrations tend to, or most of our integrations in general, tend to work more with tag groups. So I'm using a specialized list in tag groups for marketing, and then keyword would be if I'm searching for businesses, that are 401k clients and I want to kind of narrow things down, I can go ahead and do that using that keyword. Alternatively, if I come over here into the contact details, I can go ahead and spruce up my statuses and categories to represent a more business focused element. So status business client or status business non-client would be something that might help out overall with your organization. And we're really going to jump into organization and how searching can kind of help you guys sort through what are the non-important business records and the important business records. So the next question, and there's a lot more to it, and we could really jump into it, but right now I want to jump into how they're created. So how they're created, fairly simply put, it's done when you create a contact or when you are updating a contact record. So I'll head up to the quick add button here at the very top of the screen, and then I hit contacts. And the most simple way, of course, is I can click business here. And that takes me into the create a new business module where I can go through and put in the basic contact information, what kind of business it is to me with the details, and then save that business. It's actually fairly rare that we're going to be adding businesses unless we are actively reaching out to business clients or business contacts on a regular basis. Otherwise, if I come over here to my recently viewed, we can take a look at, we have here's my record right here. And then we can see that internal trainer at Redtail Technology. It is a clickable link that will lead to that contact record, of course. And all I have to do to go ahead and establish that business record is edit basic info. And then I just start typing in here. And if it recognizes it in the system, all I have to do is click on the existing business record. That way, I don't create that duplicate. Otherwise, if I wanted to make something new, all I would have to do is type it out, and then I would just hit update individual, and that would actually create that additional business record. And of course, that's what we're trying to avoid. So if you see it pop up, I would definitely recommend you use that. Um, but it's because of the fact that they're so easily created that we get some complaints about having too many business records in the account. So, how do we sort through it? How do we most effectively develop a way so that when I jump into the system, I'm not seeing anything outside of what I want to see? It's a very normal thing to want and appreciate overall. So, what's the best way? And I feel that the best way is through quick lists. So, if I'm going to jump into contacts over here on the left hand side of the screen, and then I come up to my my list here. Now I have a quick list already built. Um, it should be business vendors. Better yet, we'll do this. We'll do this. How about this? We'll go to contacts. We'll go to advanced search. We're going to come up here, and the most important search parameter in regards to narrowing or filtering business out of a view that is important to me. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to choose contact. I'm going to go down to field, which is type here. So the field type, and then we're going to say equal to individual. So number one, I'm establishing I only want to see people. The worst thing that generally you can do here, I'll show you, I'll open it up in another tab, is we get a lot of confusion because people tend to come to this page and hit all, and they just want to scroll for 3 days as they go through all of their records. That would be inefficient. The best thing we could do, of course, is the quick list, where we go ahead and develop the list. Number one, we narrow it down by individual. And then I would take it a little bit further. Contact status equal to client, so active client in our case. And then I would actually throw in one more, especially if you're in a multi advisor office. I would do contact servicing advisor equal to the advisor in question that wants to see this, and I can go ahead and run that list. And then I only have this 112 records that I'm worried about as Tucker McLaughlin, as the person in charge of these contacts. These are my clients, and these are all I want to see. So all I have to do is save this as a quick list as Tucker's clients, and then I would just hit save, and then that would save that in the save that inside. Otherwise, once it's been developed, we have Tucker's client list here, and it saves the search parameters so that whomever you add will always be put into the system. So that's going to save you guys some time overall, and I highly recommend that you guys do develop these quick lists so that for those people who hate seeing all the additional records and don't want to sort, use the benefits. They use the benefits of the dynamic quick lists overall. So let's talk about how we can kind of uh, embrace the business record. So let's go ahead and jump back into Redtail technology, and we're going to kind of repeat a few things here. But what's important to remember is that we utilize them as if they're a contact record. I think that's a pretty substantial piece of the puzzle here. So we add notes in regards to making sure that our conversations are kept up just like we do with our normal clients with the businesses that we need to be keeping up with. And that could be for business clients or business potential clients. There is both possible. So always have that in mind. Um, and then so if we're thinking about using a business, like if we're thinking about marketing to our business clients, of course, we can always connect these records to an opportunity as well. So if you're using the opportunity tracker, which we have lots of videos on those as well, if you guys have questions on them, just let us know. um, about taking a business through the sales process, and that might be like how best to approach that. That might be done best between peers, but we will happily help you out with that if you're looking to refine that sales process a little bit. Um, if we can Now, I kind of highlighted this earlier, but devoting statuses and categories to businesses are only going to help you in your refined search methods, because when it comes down to contact organization, it is always important to have the fields in place. And we talked about most of them. We talked about status and category. Just like it is for contacts, it's good for businesses. We talk about our keywords and tags as well as our user defined fields. If we have ways to organize these contacts so that they can be of value to us, that is always the goal. We're always trying to squeeze value out of the system. And that's why individuals like spouses and dependents are considered individuals or contacts in the system, just like the business record is a contact in the system. If you utilize the system correctly, it's so easy to sort through all of your data that you're going to have a better time inside of the system and only see what you want to see when you want to see it. Will it require an extra click and a little bit of extra setup from time to time? Yes, but at least I'm not scrolling through a gigantic list of all of my contacts. That's what we're trying to avoid. And then finally, I think that's what's a good thing to keep in mind is that a business can also represent a vendor relationship. So if I go to my recently viewed, I'll bring up Office Supply Corp here. So Office Supply Corp is just, let's just say this is our imaginary where we get all of our office supplies from. Why not have them in the CRM is the question. So you're going to be ordering things for your offices on a regular basis. Why not put that record in the system, put in your contacts? If there's a department for them, put it in a department. If there is just a quick way to reach out, you can go ahead and put their information in here. And then you're going to utilize notes to make sure that you're looking at which, or you're putting in the information that you ordered. Otherwise, you can take those receipts that are there, that are generally emailed to you, and put them into the document section of this business record so that you can go back and see, oh, we ordered this, we ordered this, we ordered this. Now, that may not be always super necessary, but a paper trail is a good thing to have. Um, I mean, that's the nature of all of our jobs here. Let's go ahead and jump into some workarounds and best practices, ways to kind of help you guys out if it is that the business record is just you're totally against it. And if you are, we're not offended by it. We want to help you as best we can. So, what's the best way to do it? Number one, I feel personally that the best way to avoid the business record is based off of a very simple field and just expanding it and not utilizing another. So, if we jump into my record here, we're going to jump in also to my imaginary wife here. So, let's go ahead and bring up Becca Nakano. And we can go ahead and see that Becca is an a cappella singer from the Barden Bellas. Now, I can't click on that name, and that's because of this simple action. All I did was in the job title, I went ahead and put in the place of business as well. That's it. That's it. Now, if I wanted to create the business record, all I would have to do is type it in here and save. But in this case, it's not going to be all that necessary for me. So that is probably my favorite way to avoid it. Otherwise, other methods that you could utilize is user defined fields. So if I come in down to the user defined field, you can create one which is just employer with Redtail technology as the value here. And if I need to see it, I can see it. I mean, it's a pretty simple way to do it, and this has the potential of creating like buckets of dirty data. If it is that you're just adding in like maybe lazily typed out business names and whatnot, and then you're not given really the opportunity to check whether that already exists. And so you might create weird shorthand versions of those business records, and it can just become a nightmare in and of itself. But otherwise, there's another place where you can track it inside of the contact record. And this is the really only way to pull this information is through a custom export later. But if you go down to the professional section of the Know Your Client region, you can go ahead and see that employment's here. You can put occupation, start date, their income, as well as their retired date. So like this is another good place where you can put that information if it is that you want to completely avoid having those contact records created. And if that's something you want to do, that's totally understandable. But we do recommend that you just use as quick lists instead there. Um, let's see here. Now, as far as everything else is concerned, this is just kind of a quick walkthrough. Remember, this is the 101 of utilizing the record, the business record overall. One of the big things that I want to make sure you guys take into account is the ones that matter are the ones with the right statuses and the ones that you take the time to actually upload an image for, and that should be for contacts as well. So that if it is that you do choose to scroll down through all of your contacts, the ones that do jump out are going to be the ones where you have faces or images that represent that record. And if you could do that, you're well on your way to saving time and not tripping over a bunch of that content that you may not want to see within your Redtail database. So thanks everybody for being a part of the Redtail family. If you have any questions in regards to this, please just let us know. Email training@redtailtechnology.com or give us a phone call at 800-206-5030.